changes, would you believe? And the most surprising, and perhaps the least surprising in many ways, is their goalkeeper, Joseph-Antoine Bell, who missed that decisive penalty at the end of Thursday's semi-final penalty shootout against the Ivory Coast, is dropped, and that means number 16, Jacques Songo, plays in goal. Also dropping out of the side, Koundé, Jean-Claude Pagal, Foutmaba, Abongu, Omambi, and Kanya-Biik too. Makanaki is recalled to the team, as is Stephen Tatau, Ebwene, Mabu, and Benjamin Massing. Well, so near and yet so far. These two teams have to put behind them that disappointment of not appearing in tomorrow's showpiece, and instead try and put on a brave face for this third and fourth place playoff game. Check on the Cameroon substitutes. All players who figured highly in the competition so far. Cameroon already having played and beaten the likes of Morocco and Senegal in that close quarter-final. They were held by Zaire in their group qualification match before the disappointment of losing on a penalty shootout to the Ivory Coast in Thursday's semi-final. This, remember, both teams' fifth match in 13 days, are bound to be a little bit tired, and therefore one can excuse them making wholesale changes in an attempt to make this match of some interest. The disappointment, I'm sure, is keen and felt keenly by both sets of players. Of course, these pictures going right round the world. Delighted to bring you live this third and fourth playoff, and don't forget, tomorrow we'll bring you the final itself of the African Nations Cup, 18th African Nations Cup final. Ghana play the Ivory Coast. So it's Cameroon in the yellow tops to get us underway, playing from left to right in the first half. Cameroon have scored just 3 goals in their 4 African Nations Cup games so far. A little bit disappointed with that record. And they've dropped all 3 strikers from the team that played Ivory Coast in the semi-final: Ebongu, Omambi, and Kanya-Biik. And the goalkeeper too. Rather makeshift number 16 on his back for Jacques Songo. Ledip will play at the centre of defence, occupy the position normally filled by Koundé. Imagine it'll be a leisurely pace in this third and fourth place playoff game. Here's that Abdou is playing at the heart of the Nigeria defence, alongside this man, Aguavon, teammate at Roger Foutmaba in the Belgian league. Foutmaba being left on the bench by Cameroon in this match, as Philippe Redon, the trainer of the Cameroon side. Been in charge nearly a year now. Mabouang with that clever piece of skill. It is Mabu, he plays at the centre of midfield. Sure, it'll be difficult for some of these players to readjust. They've got used to playing with each other over the last 13 days, the regular Cameroon side, but really have chopped and changed for this match, which many might say doesn't mean a great deal. This is Ruben Agbula, who'll be back in the English League next week, playing with Swansea City. Heat of Dakar, stark comparison to the freezing temperatures in England this weekend. I understand you have 1 or 2 problems with the pictures that you're receiving from Dakar. We'll do our best to put those right. We're hopefully enjoying the early stages of this game. It's Cameroon against Nigeria. Nigeria in possession with Ruben Agbula, an English-based player in the whole of the African Nations Cup. pace certainly is leisurely at the start, isn't it? Edpo in possession now. There's a fearsome challenge by Benjamin Massing. The deep just about won that challenge and wins his side the goal kick. Michel Platini on the right. And who we've often seen in the crowd, Arrigo Sacchi, the Italian team coach, was quoted saying that the quality of the football here at the African Nations Cup has been a little bit disappointing. Sort of emphasises his point, doesn't it, that disappointing cross to the back post. The most densely populated area of the ground will be the press box, just at the top of your picture. Real shape to the early stages of this game as the team changes that both sides have decided to use really upset the pattern and rhythm of Nigeria and Cameroon, who got through to the last four of this competition. Eguavon. Abdou getting it wide. Bade. Ene with a cross. It was a good deep cross too. Makanaki. Apparently he's been a real hit with the women in Senegal. Apparently besieged by autograph hunters. Has been a really popular figure. Wasn't too popular with his teammates though when he missed that penalty in the semi-final shootout against the Ivory Coast. A little bit of space here now for Cameroon. That was a real opportunity to take the lead. Tatao's cross. Nice deep cross too. That's how close Cameroon were to taking the lead in the game. And they have a corner to be taken by Makanaki. Aloysius Agu, the goalkeeper of Nigeria. Easy save for Agu. Had the misfortune of losing his two front teeth while playing against Ghana last year. Doesn't seem to have affected his confidence. Nor has the penalty miss affected the confidence of Makanaki. Originally left on the bench for Cameroon in that semi-final, but back in amongst the action now. The Cameroon won this competition in 84 and 88. But have been unable to keep their four-year cycle of wins going. Joseph Antoine Bell, whose eventual decisive penalty settled the penalty shootout, was quoted in one of the local newspapers as saying it wasn't the end of the world. Cameroon did qualify for Sunday's final. He was saying things like that cost him his first team place, as Agbula helps it out to find Adiboju. Nigeria caught offside in the trap as Cameroon pushed out. Cameroon's disappointment, of course, even more keen, because if they'd won the African Nations Cup this year, they'd have kept the trophy as 3 times winners. sometimes these third and fourth playoff games tend to have a little bit of a reputation of being open, attractive matches. There's little to fight for anymore, and perhaps both sets of players can just settle down and stroke the ball around and show what they can do. Let's hope it works out that way. Is tapped out. Left out for the quarter-finals with Senegal and the semi-final with the Ivory Coast, but finds himself back in the team for this game. It'll be NA to take the corner. He drops it in short. Bade to drive it in. There was a header by Abdou, but no real meat behind it. Easy save for Songo. Cameroon, the oldest squad in the African Nations Cup, and perhaps their exit from the competition in that penalty shootout will signal the breakup of the current team. Served Cameroon so well, not only in these African Nations Cups, but also in the World Cup in Italy in 1990. This is Makanaki. Looking for Mabou, but another easy catch for Agu. Maybe we're going to see a new Cameroon side come to the fore as they attempt to qualify now for the 1994 World Cup finals in the USA. Perhaps one or two of those famous names like Koundé and Makanaki, Jean-Claude Pagal and Onana disappear into the history books as great Cameroon players. He was fouled, so free kick to Nigeria here in the white. Ruben Agbula to take it. I'm sure Yakini will miss his striking partner, Sia. Bade on the far side to take the throw. The understudy to Ruben Agbula, normally in the Nigerian side. Well, they were queuing up on the back post, and that's the first real shot in anger. And it's the man who scored in the semi-final, Adepoju, who had that shot on goal. And he seems to take up some interesting positions on the left-hand side of midfield, and he just seems to drift away from the defence, allow himself to have those sort of efforts on goal. In the semi-final, it was a header on goal. Nobody picked him up in that game. Nobody picked him up there. Tapped out. It's a foul by Eguavon and a free kick to Cameroon. There's Eguavon. Plays his club football in Belgium. This is Makanaki. Tapped out. Makanaki again. NA. Sort of shot on goal that we've come to expect from Cameroon. Maybe something a little bit more closer to the mark as Massing press forward. Agbula helps this one forward. 13 is Ikbeba. Kini can't get anywhere near it. Massing all clear from the Cameroon defence. Headed back in though by Ugbade. Yakini. Adepoju. Agbula. Adepoju again. Plenty of width and plenty of passing inside the Cameroon half, but no real cutting edge just yet, mind you. Makanaki screaming for the ball. He'll get it as well, or he's tackled by Adepoju. Then one back by Massey. Still 0-0 in this third and fourth place playoff. Cameroon in the yellow nil, Nigeria in the white nil. Agbula. Adepoju. Ekpo finding Ugbade. Tackle was by Daboko, Cameroon. That was aimed in towards Yekini. Egwavon, the pivot at the heart of the Nigerian defence, finding Ruben Ekbula. It's all been rather steady at the moment. Neither teams have possessed appetite for a fight to win this third place. Yekini! He ghosted into that inside right position. Something for the commentators to get a little bit excited about, but that was a good shot by number 8 Yekini here. Challenge Nigeria have this corner. NA to take it. Yekini will be the target man. Egwavon has come forward too. So too is Ikpeba. Nowhere near Ikpeba. Drops rather invitingly for Abdu, number 21. And he rues the decision not to strike that one a little bit more cleanly. Jack Songa revelling in his appearance in the Cameroon side. No one hopes there'll be a goal before too long. Nigeria have scored in every one of their African Nation Cup games so far in this tournament. 14 here is Stephen Takau. Agbula will mop up, playing it left back. Mobu plays on the left-hand side of defence. A role that was filled by Babalde in the semi-final until Babalde was sent off for Nigeria. 13 is Ikpeba. Well, that's a fine driven cross. Oh, it just came off the arm of Ebwele then. Left back. Too many penalty appeals as the ball hit Ebwele. Ball hit hand rather than hand hit ball. Seven is Finidi. Get the impression that Nigeria just going up a couple of gears in an attempt to make this game a little bit more palatable for the spectators who've come to this stadium. Finidi. Overhit his cross somewhat. This is Takau. In fact, it was Ewane who gets it back to Takau, and the two players exchange passes again. Mabu. Ewane. Ebwele. That's a good ball. Into Makanaki. Rode the challenge well of Yekini. He still has possession. He's into the dead ball line. Red alert here for Nigeria. And in the end, the cross wasn't particularly well struck from Makanaki here. Agu had a fairly simple task of collecting the ball. Yekini. Ugbade. Has Finidi available just ahead of him. Cameroon claim the ball's out of play. Finidi changes the emphasis of the attack. Picks out Ene. Piba. Apologies to his teammates because he realises that the least of his options should have been to shoot into the side netting. About 18 minutes of the first half in this third and fourth place playoff game of the African Nations Cup. It's Cameroon 0, Nigeria 0. 20 is Makanaki. Mabu. Poju hanging on to possession. Ekpo, Eddie Poju. Ekpo again. A little bit of space here for Finidi. Plenty waiting for the cross, including Yekini. It's away though by Massing. Played back into the danger zone. Agbula. Oh, Yekini, he's got half a yard here. Oh, he screwed it horribly wide. Good little run that by Yekini as the ball was helped on by Ruben Agbula. Yekini had half a yard, got the right side here of Massing. Or rather Tatao, and, well, should at least have made the goalkeeper make a save. So 20 minutes in, it's still 0-0. Goalkeeper's clearance almost the whole length of the pitch. Cameroon do have this rather annoying side to their game of being a little bit lackadaisical. It was evident in the semi-final when they lost on that penalty shootout to the Ivory Coast. Some of their penalties in that penalty shootout were on the sloppy side. Maybe it's something they just need to tighten up in these big competitions. Nigeria certainly looks sharper in this game, even though it is a third and fourth place playoff game. Quite simply, Cameroon just didn't score enough goals in those 4 matches that they played to be worthy finalists tomorrow. Of course, they missed a penalty after 17 minutes of the semi-final. Missing penalties almost became a stock in trade in that match. The back heel was intended, but it didn't quite come off. But Cameroon have, what, 4 players forward in this raid. 14 is Tatao. Oh, lovely turn by Makanaki. Didn't quite come off. Mabu. Forced wide. Ebwele. Mabu. Slight misunderstanding on behalf of the Cameroons. And Nigeria have possession. Plenty of players forward here as Ekpo has it. Looking for Finidi. Right down the throat of Jacques Songo. There's Finidi, the man who had that shot on goal. Have an injury here to a Cameroon player. Well, initially it was going to be Makanaki, but it doesn't appear to be that way. Could be Mabuong. Appears to be almost out cold before Makanaki revives him. Certainly seems to take quite a bump. this is Mabouang. Indeed it is. Feel some sympathy for him because he's waited patiently for his chance to represent his country. It was a left boot right to the jaw. Slightly higher up on his face, which caused him the discomfort. Philippe Redon, I think, is calling him off just to have a look at him. Make sure there's no real damage to Mabouang. Nigeria rather sportingly give the ball back to the Cameroon. Still 0-0 then. Don't forget, it's a big weekend of football here on Screen Sport. Tomorrow we bring you the final itself of the African Nations Cup, when Ghana, without Abide Pele, who's suspended, take on the Ivory Coast. Makinaki, well, an enthusiastic challenge, gave away the corner from NA, number 19. That's exactly where that left boot caught Mabouang. I think they're just trying to stop the bleeding just beneath his right eye. Makinaki with the corner. Ooh, almost fell invitingly into the path there. That Cameroon player. Bula has to clear the danger. Just getting the ball out of play. How this game could do with a goal. Field 14 is Tatao to take the throw. Still 0-0. Cameroon pressing forward. That's a good challenge by Makinaki. Tatao's cross. There was a few of them arriving there. Mabou's in there, Tatao's in there. Not one of them could get a shot in on goal. Yekini leads the counter-attack now for Nigeria. Finidi forces the ball wide. Ikpiba. Finidi waiting for the cross. Funneled back. As Nigeria try again, then they've lost possession. Rather wasteful that. Ewane. Edipoju. The reason the ball was cleared so far. An injury here to Egwavon. Egwavon still in some discomfort. Played in the 88 African Nations Cup final against Cameroon, but missed the 90 finals. Former Ghent player. Sounds cynical, but as soon as the players see the stretcher bearers, they can make some sort of miraculous recovery. Maybe it's a tactic that the officials of the 1994 World Cup should employ. Certainly would save a lot of time. Ruben Agbula is indicating to Egwavon that if he's injured, he should leave the field. And let's make a substitution. being played to the accompaniment of the African drums, but no real beat to the match just yet. It's very, very low-key. Koju's had probably the best chance of the game, and he sure saw his shot saved by Jacques Songo. That's been it as far as clear-cut opportunities have been concerned. Other than that, there's been a lot of unimaginative plodding, to be honest. Piba. The deep trying to get a challenge in. Yakini just trying to flick it on, but they'll leave it to bounce into the arms of the goalkeeper. Songo, Massing. Tata, half an hour gone in this one. We still await the first goal of this third and fourth place playoff game. Agbula with a free kick. Yakini got the flick on, couldn't direct it anywhere. Benidi. Abdu. Abdu again. Agbula. Incidentally, all four of the semi-final teams have been staying in the same hotel in Dakar. Sure, Cameroon. Nigeria will have something of a end-of-tournament party tonight. Sure, it'll be quite the case for the two finalists tomorrow, Ghana and the Ivory Coast. Hope that Cameroon and Nigeria keep the noise down at least. That time was by Stephen Tata, and who captained the Cameroon side in Italy World Cup. Nigeria evidently thinking of a change. I wonder if Eguavon is really injured. Seems all right now as he has the ball and then finds Abdu. And here's Agbula. Eguavon. Agbula helping it on, but I suspect he was being fouled as he tried to do so. This attritional style of Cameroon doesn't really allow their opponents much hope of pressing forward with any fluency. Another free kick to be taken by Agbula. Still 0-0. Yakini will be the target man. Agbavon has gone forward too from the back. Now, Nigeria could be short of players on this move, but Bade wins it back. Mopebwele. Here we're going to have a change. Zugo is going to come on, a right back. And gets an opportunity to come on. Yakini who tried his luck there. Zugo plays his club football for Lyngby in Denmark. He played in the semi-finals. I wonder if it is Eguavon who's going to come off the field. Gabwele. to be moving quite freely now. Ekpo brushed aside the challenge, should I say. Poju getting it wide. And back to his goalkeeper, no doubt, from Tatao. Bakanaki. The yellow card for Abdu for that foul. Mabuong, who's having quite a rough old game here. I suspect this substitution can be made. Eguavon is obviously in a good deal of pain and is coming off to be replaced by Zogu. So Eguavon's African Nations Cup comes to an end. Says he wants to play in England, Eguavon. I wonder if any English coaches out in Senegal have seen anything they like of his play. Makanaki. So 10 minutes to half-time, still 0-0. Mabu has it back again, Mabu. Mabuong is a target in the middle, if they can find him. Played over everybody's head. Poju doing well to win that ball and then taking it away for Nigeria. Is Tatao. Babu. Busy little midfield player. Small evasive footballer Mabu, but he gets Cameroon moving. They have possession here, though not for long. Cameroon 0, Nigeria 0. Tatao with the throw. Mabu. Bundled over by Iba. A free kick to Cameroon now in a position of some danger for this Nigerian defence. Nigeria certainly have had the greater volume of scoring opportunities. Mabu. Expectant atmosphere as it was Owene who took that free kick. Well wide of its target. Maybe we're seeing two very tired teams here in this third and fourth place playoff game. Nothing tired about that move there, was there? Spurt by Kiba, who hasn't figured too highly in these championships so far. Forrest Massing. Feels that Nigeria just missed the aerial power of Sia in this match. Ian Yakini really knitted together well throughout this African Nations Cup. Both players playing their football in Europe. Sia with Lokeren in Belgium, and Yekini, who wears the number 8 in this match, with Vitória Setúbal in Portugal. Libaju. There is Yekini. Piba. Quite awful cross. And Ruben Agbula to take the throw. Abdou. Bade. Yekini. Forced wide to the right-hand side. Waiting for Finidi now. Fortunately, Yekini is offside. Maybe not Yekini who is offside, but a couple of Nigerians who'd strayed inside that Cameroon penalty area. It was Yekini. So 5 minutes to half-time, still 0-0. Really, neither side have had sufficient possession to carry through their good intentions, although here's Makinaki. Tackled by Bade, fouled by him too. Second, one of these two teams pinch a goal just before the break. That one headed away by Abdou. Agu has possession. Certainly any threat that Nigeria have posed Cameroon has come down their left-hand side. It's down the left which they attack now with Agbula. This match being played with a similar sort of caution that we saw in the qualification matches in the early stages of the African Nations Cup. The abandon that we'd hoped for a third and fourth place playoff game, which one hoped would be a celebration of African football. Hasn't quite turned out that way. Remember, Cameroon have been undefeated through 6 qualifying games and 4 final games if you discount their penalty shootout loss to the Ivory Coast. Mabuwong, the man who was fouled. Still time for a goal before half-time. 3 minutes to go to the interval. Mabuwong again. Manhandle. Another yellow card. This time to Ene. Makinaki. Really sums up the first half so far, doesn't it? That wayward drive by Nadeep. Can't imagine the journalists have had too much to write down about this opening 45 minutes. passing there, so a free kick to Nigeria. Minute and a half to half-time. NA to take it. Songo got there at the second opportunity. Ball that one out, Makinaki. Oh, clever little back heel by him, and a neat one too as well. It was more like the thing we were hoping to see. Agbula got that one clear. Just a suspicion of a foul by Agbula, but the referee waves play on. Bade. Yakini happy to run into the offside trap which Cameroon had laid for him. Three is Onana. So we're in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Still Cameroon in the yellow, 0, Nigeria 0. Been one of two stoppages in the opening 45 minutes. A couple of injuries to Mabuwong and one to Egwavon, the central defender of Nigeria, who's since left the field. I'm sure he's enjoying the match. No doubt he'll be coming to future African Nations Cup matches. Mabuwong involved there. Tatao throws it at the line. Makinaki hooked in towards Mabuwong. The ball almost just dropped into his path. Makinaki has it again. Mabu was available to the right, and he was so disappointed not to get the pass. It would have opened up the left-hand side of the Nigerian defence. Yakini, that was a solid tackle by Onana. Too solid for the referee's liking. Akpo to take the free kick. Finds Ruben Agbula. Well, it's the last action of a very sterile first half. Hugely disappointing that both these sides couldn't produce more chances. The only real chance of the game so far came from Adepoju, that close-range effort which was well saved by Songo. And at half-time in this third and fourth place playoff game in the African Nations Cup, it's Cameroon 0, Nigeria 0.
Welcome back. A rather muted stadium here in Dakar. I have to say, the half-time position, Nigeria 0, Cameroon 0, and that's becoming a rather familiar story now with the Cameroon side, who are going out on a low note here at the end of the African Nations Cup campaign. Nigeria showing the early ambition and certainly deserve perhaps to be ahead at half-time on points, if not goals. Let's hope for better things to come in the second half. Certainly this is seen very much as the curtain raiser for our weekend of live soccer from Senegal 92, because tomorrow afternoon I can assure you that they will be giving it their all as Ghana and Ivory Coast contest the final. It will be the first time for Ivory Coast should they lift the trophy. It'll be the 5th success in this tournament for Ghana. So very disappointing indeed for the Cameroon side, who came into these championships as the favourites. Here they are in the first half, defending in the yellow shirts, and that's their goalkeeper Songo, holding a shot from Adepoju after 12 minutes play. Surprising really that he had space and time for the shot, as the cross reached him there at the back of the box, the right footer held by Songo going down to his right. That's Abdul getting his chance this afternoon, coming into the squad, the number 21. And it's scrambled away. And really, if Nigeria were to score in the first half, you would have put your money on this man, Rashidi Yekini. That was the clearest opportunity that presented itself in the first 45. And I think the number 8 there for Nigeria knows he might have done better. Nigeria, remember, missing Siasia and Stephen Keshi at the back. The first half statistics for you looking like that. I'm sure for one that Yekini will move up and on from Vitória Setúbal in Portugal after these championships to a bigger club. He's one man who has enhanced his reputation here at Senegal 92. Nigeria outshooting Cameroon with the goal attempts by 2-1 in the first half, but at the bottom of your screen, I'm afraid, as yet, we have no goals. So we can update you on just how these sides got to this playoff match, and also how Ghana and Ivory Coast found themselves in opposition tomorrow for the final, which you can see live and exclusive here on Screen Sport. Before that, let's take you back 4 years to 1988. The last time that Cameroon lifted this trophy in Casablanca. And you may have heard us talking to Martin O'Neill earlier in the week, where I mentioned how the Cameroon had come through to take that title with just 4 goals from 5 matches. In fact, on their way to the final itself, they beat Egypt by 1-0 from Roger Milla. Then a 1-1 draw with the opposition today, Nigeria. That was Milla again on the mark in that group match. Cameroon and Kenya 0-0 in the final group game when Cameroon qualified for the semis. They saw off host nation Morocco thanks to a goal from Makanaki, and then in the final, as you saw, it was 1 goal again, put in the penalty against Nigeria by Koundé. Now 35, this I'm sure will be Koundé's last tournament. He was the hero of 1988, as in Casablanca it was the Cameroon who lifted the trophy. Well, Mabou's had a busy half. Once again, the Cameroon side prepared to defend and hit on the break, and they have looked dangerous from set pieces in these finals, but today, of course, missing their target man, Oman Biek. And they've certainly lacked the sparkle, the magic that Roger Milla provided at Italia 90. In the semi-final, Nigeria in the green against Ghana. Now, at that stage, might perhaps have fancied their chances to go on with 1 foot in the final, thanks to the goal from Adepoju. And that was before Prince Polly had something to say. A regal name for the man with a regal touch, as 2 goals from him either side of half-time overcame the plucky Nigerians. Certainly had the sympathies of the crowd behind them. Finished with 10 men, and Ghana were through to the final. That second semi-final, Cameroon and Ivory Coast, was a disappointing affair, 0-0 at the end of extra time. And the decisive penalty miss from the keeper, Bell. Many observers at the time wondering just what the keeper was doing, taking a vital penalty. And certainly the Cameroon side had enough outfield players available to take a spot kick. Makanaki had already missed. Well, we say missed. Guameni there from Ivory Coast had pulled off two magnificent saves. That wasn't the most difficult of the three, but he guessed correctly, went the right way, and Bell the first forward to congratulate the Ivory Coast hero. So it's a David and Goliath confrontation in every sense of the word for us tomorrow afternoon. Join us if you can at 4 o'clock. We will be here once again in Dakar for the final of this year's competition. Ghana, many people's tip to take the title. It'll be the 5th time if they manage it against Little Ivory Coast. Fascinating duel in prospect. Mighty Ghana with all their big match experience against Little Ivory Coast coming your way tomorrow at 4 o'clock. The second half, however, is up after this.
You join us right on cue for the start of the second half of the 3rd and 4th place playoff game in this African Nations Cup, as Nigeria and Cameroon get set to take the field. Sure, the message will be less of the same, because the first half really was a very dull affair, with the only two real opportunities worth talking about both falling to Nigeria. Initially, when Yakini screwed a ball right across the face of goal, and then Adepoju had a real good opportunity, again just outside the 6-yard box, when he tested the goalkeeper Jacques Songo. One expected a festival of African football in the opening half. It hasn't really turned out that way, and in fairness, it's resembled one of the early group games of the African Nations Cup. Been very sterile, either side wanting to concede much ground, especially not concede a goal. But in this meeting of two teams, one coached by a Frenchman, the other a Dutchman, 0-0 at half-time. Relaxed air to the two teams as they prepare for the start of the second half. As you can see, there's not too many people inside this Friendship Stadium, which will be packed tomorrow for the final when the Ivory Coast meet the Ghana. 4 o'clock kickoff. You can see the whole match live here on Screen Sport. So it's Nigeria to get the second half underway of this 3rd and 4th place playoff match. 0-0 at half-time. Kiba gets us underway. The run here by Finidi. That's about half a yard there. Play it into the near post. Onana waiting in the Cameroon penalty area. Massing who gets it clear. Headed back inside by Bade. Cameroon, not too surprisingly, to use some of the players that they haven't used so far in this competition. Onana helping forward to Makanaki. This is Ruben Agbula playing at left back for Nigeria. Inside by Ekpo. Abdou turns it back to his goalkeeper. Cameroon, along with Ghana, have more of their players playing in Europe than any other African country, so you'd expect them to have the sort of experience to do well in these sort of competitions. All their elimination disappointing in the semi-finals is probably an understatement. Agbula helping it forward. This is Yakini. Knocked away by Massing to Makanaki. Nabuong unable to keep it in play, and the opposite number 21, Abu, gets it out. Massing again. Confirmation there has been a substitution at half-time. Keke is on. Ooh, deliberate handball. That under FIFA regulations could be a sending off offence. Ezugu was the man. I suspect it's the referee is pointing to the penalty spot, but surely Ezugu handled the ball outside the penalty area. This is what the Nigerian players are saying now. Where was this ball handled? Certainly outside the box. But the FIFA regulations, a deliberate handball in a goal-scoring opportunity should result in a sending off. The linesman and the referee can't agree. So we look again at the incident here. A little back heel allows CAN1992 to just chip one in here. Looking for Mabuong. Ezugu handled the ball, and now a penalty to the Cameroon. So, Cameroon 0, Nigeria 0. CAN1992, who had his spot kick saved in Thursday's penalty shootout with a chance to give Cameroon the lead. Oh, he's done it again. What is it about penalties in Cameroon? He wasn't even close. That cleared the bar by at least a couple of feet. Maybe the Nigerians breathed a sigh of relief when they saw CAN1992 coming forward to take that penalty. That's 4 of 5 penalties that Cameroon have missed in this competition, including those that they missed in the penalty shootout against Ivory Coast in the semi-finals. Finidi. Handed out by Massey. Well, the game has got a high point. It really was a controversial high point in many ways, because it was originally CAN1992's cross into the box looking for Mabuong that created that decision by the referee. But Ezugu had handled the ball inside the penalty area. Nigeria weren't very happy about that, but CAN1992 blasted his penalty well over the crossbar. Stoppage here for this incident. Look again at where the ball was handled. I'm quite certain that was outside the box, and that eccentric decision by the referee at least gave us something to talk about in the match. Once again underway. Let's hope that just is a spark to bring this game to life, because my goodness, it needs it. Finidi. Crossfield passes by NA, intercepted. CAN1992. That was a good sliding tackle by Agbula. Mabu. The Cameroon sandwich there. As CAN1992 wins it back, finds Mabu. He's roamed creatively for Cameroon in midfield. Keke helped it on. One of the substitutes at half-time. It might have been a shame that CAN1992 missed that spot kick, because had he scored it, perhaps Nigeria would have been tempted to come out and play a little bit more adventurously. Yekini always still making his way towards goal, and the first challenge is judged to be a foul. Or was it the second one? Doesn't really matter. Yekini wins Nigeria a free kick in the D. And Nigeria missing a clutch of first choice players. Maybe can work something now. Ekpo standing over the ball for Nigeria. Yakini can hit them too. Ruben Agbula forward. And money here is on Yakini, the man closest to the ball. So Ekpo shaping to strike it too, still 0-0. Well wide of its target again by Yakini. The impression Yakini likes to strike them hard, whereas Ekpo likes to place them. Nabuong just loses the flight of the ball. Not too much to smile about so far. Still Cameroon 0, Nigeria 0. 14 is Tata to take the throw. Came out of his hands a little bit too early. Massing missed out. The referee might have played the advantage there if he has awarded Nigeria this kick. In fact, it's gone the other way. Cameroon having to get used to the new taste of losing. They won the All-African Games in Cairo last September, beating Tunisia 1-0 in the final, but they came here to Senegal very much on the favourites to do well. Once we're down to 4 teams through to the semi-final, favourite to go through to a final with Ghana, no doubt, but just didn't work out that way, simply because they spurned their opportunities. They missed a penalty in the semi-final. Kunde saw his spot kick saved, then they went into that rather farcical penalty shootout competition, which only one of their players successfully managed to find the target. Once again, a penalty chance in this game. They've spurned the opportunity. Makanaki clearing the crossbar. Still 0-0. Mabu. Tata. That's a fair-looking cross. Looking for Mabuong. Wasn't too far away either. Makanaki offside. This match repeats as we saw at half-time of the 88 and 84 African Nations Cup finals, both of which Cameroon won. Second one by 0-0, scored by Kunde from a penalty, ironically, in Casablanca, and it was 3-1 in the final played in the Ivory Coast 4 years earlier. Ebwele. Cameroon, who take a lot of stall out of these facts and figures, thought that by winning in 84 and 88, 92 would be their year. So it seemed until they came up against the Ivory Coast in the semi-final. Ebongu. Keke. Gets it wide to Tatao. Ooh, ball went very close to going out of play. Ekpo was being impeded as he tried to just win possession for his side. Still, Nigeria have played the more refreshing football of the two teams. They've tried to get it forward quickly, and in Yakini they have a striker who can unlock the Cameroon defence, but it hasn't been a pretty game by any stretch of the imagination. Good Bade for Nigeria. Makanaki, Ekeke. Referee almost getting involved there. Minutes gone of the second half, still 0-0. For is Benjamin Massing. Previous game of the competition was against Zaire. Free kick to Nigeria. Kini foiled as it was pulled clear. Ekpo had a steady game for Nigeria at the heart of their midfield. Getting it square to Agbula. Soccer statisticians will tell you that if you win enough free kicks in and around your opponent's penalty area, you eventually score a goal. Certainly totting up now for Nigeria. Agbula put a few into that box. Once again, the chance is spurned. Makanaki. Makanaki again. Massing to his left. Ebwele. There's also another theory going around Senegal that the influence of the European coaches has been such now that these African sides down the years have tended to excite spectators with their dribbling skills and all those good skills coached out of them now. They're a lot more cautious in the way they play their football. Remember, Nigeria coached by Dutchman today, Cameroon by a Frenchman. Maybe they've just tightened up the African game so much that a lot of these African Nations Cup matches have been very sterile. Hasn't been a lot of goals. Really, perhaps the only team who've played with any sort of joy at all in their football have been Ghana. Maybe it's fitting, therefore, that Ghana are through to the final, which will take place tomorrow when they'll meet the Ivory Coast in this stadium. Having said that, Ghana will be without their prized jewel, Bide Pele, who plays for Olympique Marseille. He is suspended for tomorrow's final after picking up 2 bookings. How will Ghana get on without him? Now, Yakini got it well for that cross. Songo held onto the ball just about. Still 0-0. We've had an hour of the game. Which of these two sides will break the deadlock? Yakini. That was tremendous acceleration by Yakini. Good job that Nadeep was aware of what was going on behind him. Nadeep's chances in this competition have been limited to just 1 minute's football, coming on as a late substitute for Kenya Biek in the win over Senegal. This time, Nana, the 3 brought down. He missed the 1-1 draw with Zaire, but was recalled for the quarter-finals and the semi-finals. Kiba has been booked here for this challenge. Makanaki squarely tackled by Agbula. Referees also quite insistent that the players tuck their jerseys inside their shorts, another FIFA regulation. First first real shot in anger of the second half, other than the penalty, and it comes from Mabuong. Keke. The record Cameroon's performance in reaching the World Cup quarter-finals in 1990 helped win African football a third place in the World Cup finals from 1994 onwards. Really is down to the players in this squad, with the exception of Roger Mia. Who's here as in the capacity of a journalist. Corner then to Cameroon. I wonder if they can step up the pace a little bit and some life into this game. Inaki goes across to take it. Tepoko forward from the back now for Cameroon. Keke, number 11. Trying to sort things out inside the penalty area. In fact, Makanaki is going to leave it here for Stephen Tatau. I'm sure the linesman indicated this was a corner. I'm sure that's what Makanaki thought as well. Makanaki got a flick on. Jury getting clear. Free is Ukbale. Finidi gives chase. Fouls as well, I suspect. There's Finidi, the flying winger of Nigeria. Incidentally, if the scores are level at the end of 90 minutes, we'll go into a period of extra time. Who knows, a penalty shootout, but I imagine Cameroon wouldn't fancy another penalty shootout. Given on their recent record of taking and missing penalties in the African Nations Cup here in Senegal. Yeah, it might be cynical to suggest that the last 5 minutes might be a free-for-all. This could be a goal. It was close, and the man who scored in the semi-finals, Adepoju, has got as close as anybody now. Twice now he's had a really good opportunity to win this game. Killed that one in, but saw the ball bury itself into the side netting. Adepoju popping up on the right-hand side of midfield that time. Good intelligent run into space as he collected the ball. Still no real shape or direction to this third and fourth place playoff match against Cameroon in the yellow and Nigeria. Bula, Yekini. Once again, as soon as there's a sniff of danger, Cameroon just close ranks. Benjamin Massing this time booked for that challenge. yet another free kick for Nigeria in the last third of the field. The balance of play, they certainly deserve a goal, and they may have one now. Came off deep, that cross. Agbula chases to keep it in play. We've reached the three-quarter point of the match, still 0-0. Adepoju, Agbula. Mabu. Makinaki, clever little dummy. Mabuong, who held the ball up far too long, and too many Nigerian players had funneled back into their own half. It was an easy job just to take the ball off him. Makinaki has picked up an injury as he dummied there. There's Makinaki, the dreadlock figure. Good deal of pain at the moment. Zonana. Interesting free kick taken quickly, and it almost gained the results which Cameroon wanted there. I think it was Mabuong who... it was Mabuong, quickly off the mark. It's another good opportunity. Finidi. Finidi again. Offside. Both teams now have had enough opportunities in this match to score a goal. Remember, Cameroon have missed a penalty early in the second half through Cyril Makinaki as he blazed the ball over the bar. Then Mabuong has had two shots now in the second half for Cameroon. A low shot which was saved by Agu, and then that clever little run from that free kick when he shot straight at the goalkeeper. Adepoju and Yekini have both had opportunities in the first half for Nigeria, and Adepoju has hit the side netting in this second half. That was some of the chances of the game so far. Biba. Wayward cross. Yekini's after it. Oh, and he almost got there as well. Nadeep was very, very slow to react to the danger as Yekini head after the ball. Means that Nigeria have this corner, still 0-0. NA to take it. Good catch by the Cameroon goalkeeper. Gets the ball out quickly to Ekeke. Nigeria certainly would like to put one over on Cameroon. They were beaten by Cameroon in August '89 to end any hopes Nigeria had of going to the 1990 World Cup finals. Nigeria have been in this position before. They finished third in this competition in 1976, again 2 years later in '78. Yekini, now he's missed his striking partner, Samson Siasia. He's not even on the substitutes bench for Nigeria in this game, so they can't call on his services. That was an ambitious ball to pick out with Bade. Finidi. A bit like handball, but Webwele a little bit lackadaisical once again. It really has been the undoing of Cameroon in this competition. Still 0-0. Webwele. Babu. It's a good ball to Stephen Tatau. Makanaki is the target. Almost got to the ball as well before it was released forward to Ene. Yakini. Happy to scatter the front row of the stand on the near side. For the Cameroon bench, so that was amusing. Bade. Yakini. Songo hangs onto the ball. Nigeria about to bring on another striker. Alatiste will be the man to come into the action. So they have made their intentions quite clear. They want to win this game. So they are going to bring off another striker, of course, in his place. Yakini pulls over the challenge of Massing. Bongu waiting to come on for Cameroon. He's a striker as well, plays on the right-hand side. Teams have 15 minutes to settle this match. NA is going to come off for Nigeria, so a striker replaces a midfield player. Alatiste is on here. Yes, 1-0, we've got the breakthrough, and it's Ekpo who scores for Nigeria. I said he might be the man to place it, and that's exactly what he did. Beautifully driven free kick. Songo in the Cameroon goal, I'm sure. Can't have seen this one until very, very late indeed, and by then it was too late. Makanaki limps out of the African Nations Cup to be replaced by Ibongu, the man who plays his club football in Portugal. One striker replaces another. And Nigeria now are 14 minutes away from claiming the third place in the 18th African Nations Cup. That should bring the game to life a little bit, because Cameroon really can't sit back now. If they do, it's to no great effect. Nigeria have the lead, and quite simply they deserve it. This is Finidi. Nice to see another goal go in. Finidi will look for Yakini if he can get his cross in before he's brushed off the ball by Ebwele, and a free kick to Nigeria. Well, that's the pulse rate moving a little bit. There's Finidi, the foul on him by Ebwele. being just about on the penalty spot. Songo just marshalling his defence now. 1-0 Nigeria lead in this third and fourth place playoff. Goalkeeper's nowhere near it, and Yakini almost stole in on the back post before Tatao got it away. Another corner. Finidi and Yakini making a nuisance of themselves. Ebongu, the substitute. Babu. Ekpo, the goal scorer, has been robbed here. Nadeem. The shots too far away. Look again at this goal by Ekpo. I think the problem there was that Nadeem completely obscured the view of Songo of that shot. Yakini's after this one. Oh, he was brave then. They might still funnel the ball inside the box. Oh, comedy of errors inside that Cameroon penalty area. Before Alatis drove that one in, the substitute number 20 there. Got away in uncertain fashion by Massing. Cameroon just look a little bit ragged now. Looks like their fifth match in 13 days is beginning to tire them. Nigeria is so disappointed not to do a little bit better than they have. They were runners-up in 90 and 88 as well. They wanted to go back to the final, wanted to win it. Yet went out in that semi-final to Ghana by 2-1. This would bring a little bit of a smile back to their faces if they can clinch the third place in the African Nations Cup. Ugbade. Alatis caught offside. Free kick to Cameroon. 9 minutes left of the game. Nigeria in the white, leading by a 0-0. Cameroon have any serious intentions about this match. Perhaps they'll look to the two missed opportunities, both spurred by Mabuong, and perhaps wonder if they'd had Oman Biek or Kanya Biek on the field. Those two players might have been a little bit more steadfast in their shooting. Redon certainly looks a tired figure. There's Makanaki pulling a nice pack to his right thigh. Finidi. Ebwele just obscured his view of the ball, but there was a foul by Finidi. A free kick to Cameroon. Well, it would be nice if Cameroon could just lift their game in the last 10 minutes. Prove to us that they have the skills to excite any spectators in this Friendship Stadium, but I suspect it might be Nigeria who'll finish the stronger of the two teams. They will look for a second goal to add the final gloss to this performance. Hasn't been much of an undercoat, but they have one goal nonetheless, scored by Friday Ekpo. How ironic that Cameroon could well lose this match. Second successive match after missing a penalty. Latiste with a free kick. Yakini. Banana took the ball off him rather easily. Ebongu. Unable to keep it in play. Go into Cameroon. Time is running out for them. Less than 7 minutes of the game remaining. Still Nigeria in the white, leading by a goal to nil. Benidi back inside his own defence, helping out. Finding Yakini, who's playing a little bit deeper now. That's a fine ball. That really could have sealed the win for Nigeria if Ikpeba's shot had been a little bit more accurate. Well, that time I think he'd already been forced too wide. That's why he was hopelessly off balance as he hit that ball. Caught offside. Iban Yakini, Rashid Yakini, looking to add rather to his 3 goals that he's already scored in this competition. Ebongu, this is a good run by him. Clever little chip. Oh, and it's the equaliser. It crawled in. Mabuong rescues the game for Cameroon just when it seemed Nigeria were within touching distance of claiming the 3rd place in the African Nations Cup. Didn't hit it cleanly. Goalkeeper was wrong-footed, and by the time he tried to rescue the situation, the ball had crossed the line. Well, Mabuong had 2 opportunities to give his side the lead before he got a very late equaliser. 85 minutes. It was Ebongu's pace which got him clear of the Nigerian defence, which created that chance. Seven is Benidi. Oh, great run by him. Final pass a little bit disappointing. Well, the 2 teams have 4 minutes to settle it in normal time, otherwise we'll go to extra time. Latiste. The cross was rather wasteful and picked up by Tatao. Cameroon 1, Nigeria 1. Fede. Brother Ebongu. Nadeeb. Oh, an opportunity to win the game right to the death. And Ekeke spurns it. That really would have been a sensational finish. Great one too, Ekeke was through. In the end, it was almost a pass to the Nigerian goalkeeper. At the other end, Yekini, he's wide of the keeper. Can he finish it off? Yes, he can! It's all over surely now. Yekini has scored the goal, which will win the third place for Nigeria. A minute and 20 seconds from the end. Yekini, the outstanding goal scorer of the African Nations Cup in Senegal, with his fourth goal of the competition, took it very wide of Songo. I had no doubts when he got to that position, but not Yekini. His shot was true, and it's enough surely now to win this game for Nigeria in a match which has exploded in the last 10 minutes. All the goals coming in the last quarter of an hour. Ekpo giving Nigeria the lead from a free kick. 5 minutes from full time. Mabuong makes it 1-1. And then 2 minutes from the end, Yekini with a second goal to make it 2-1. So, can Cameroon find a late equaliser? As that one's driven into the side netting, it's probably their last chance of the game. Just 5 seconds of normal time remaining at the end of this third and fourth place playoff. The game had a real sting in the tail. Nigeria, who've scored in every one of their African Nations Cup games so far, have done it again. Eighth goal of the competition, that one by Yekini. We're now inside stoppage time at the end of the game. And Nigeria have claimed third place. For the second successive game, Cameroon have missed a penalty and gone on to lose the match. But Nigeria shrugged aside their disappointment of losing their semi-final, and in an action-packed last 15 minutes, initially took the lead through Ekpo. Mabong pulled it level at 1-1. Yekini scored the winner 2 minutes from the end of the game. All that after Cameroon missed a penalty at the start of the second half. 2-1 then to Nigeria. We'll be back in a moment with all the action from the game.
Final score, Nigeria 2, Cameroon 1. 3 goals in the last 13 minutes of the match after Cameroon had spurned yet another penalty at the start of the second half. Live pictures for you here inside the Friendship Stadium in Dakar. Nigeria crowned as the third place team here at Senegal 92, and Cameroon finishing then on a low note indeed for them as we say goodbye to many of the stars of this side that will now begin to break up as they reform and look to qualify for the United States World Cup finals in 1994. Few will argue with the final scoreline, Nigeria leading the goal attempts 15-9, showing altogether more ambition and initiative, and perhaps with the outstanding player of these tournaments in the goal scorer, Yekini. His pedigree has been proved at the big occasion, going one better than he did 2 years ago in Algeria, where he scored 3. This time he finishes, perhaps, who knows, as the goal scorer with 4 who may head the chart at the end of the 2 weeks. Leading goal scorer at the moment then, Yekini, with just the final to come tomorrow afternoon. Can anybody better that? Tomorrow when Ghana take on the Ivory Coast. Join us for that and find out at 4 Sunday afternoon. So incredibly, 4 from the last 5 penalty attempts by Cameroon have been missed. In fact, a total of 5 misses out of 6 over the championships. Makanaki really blazing high over the crossbar here. Unforgivable, some of the Cameroon shooting from 12 yards. Penalties, well, 5 misses from 6 really is unpardonable. And they were made to pay for that miss when the first goal went home in the 77th minute from Egpo. And Gary Bloom at the time suggesting Songo may have been unsighted. Certainly the keeper was late in going down, but Egpo shot from 20 yards, perhaps more indeed, closer to 22. Perfectly positioned, going into the bottom corner low through that wall. It didn't look as if it was doing its job either. So there it was, Nigeria ahead with just 12 minutes remaining. And incredibly, Cameroon came through and found an equaliser. It's that old campaigner, Ibongu, who came on as a substitute. He scored, incidentally, against Nigeria in the 1984 final. Just one of a number of Cameroon players who's been around a long time now. And his cross scrambled home by Maboang. This also after Massing had stopped one on the line, following more Cameroon uncertainty at the back. And then the substitute's cross on 85, falling for Maboang. His miss hit, rather catching the keeper committed, a soft equaliser, and looking very much as if extra time was on the cards. Tapoko was following in to make absolutely sure the ball already had crossed the Nigerian goal line. So we were back at 1-1, settling back indeed for extra time when this happened from Rashidi Yekini, and we suggested at half-time that surely he's booked himself a passage onto a bigger stage. Can Vitória Setúbal, I wonder now, in Portugal, hang on to the talents of this man? Scored 3 times in Algeria in 1990. And here at Senegal 92, he goes one better, finishes with 4. And at the moment, that makes him the leading goal scorer for these African Nations Cup Championships. Cameroon caught on the break. Here's the difficult bit, round the keeper from a tight angle. The defender was back quickly. That was inch perfect as the ball goes home. And he restores the Nigerian lead with just 2 minutes remaining. The 88th minute winner that gave Nigeria sweet revenge for those defeats in the 1984 and 1988 finals, when on each occasion they were beaten by Cameroon. Today they've overcome their old enemies, 2-1. Good scoreline for them. Congratulations, Nigeria, who many people would like to have seen in the final, finish here at Africa 92's Nations Cup final in 3rd place. Ghana and Ivory Coast then tomorrow. It's live and direct from Senegal. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And if your appetites become jaded perhaps with a little too much English League football in recent weeks, join us for that tomorrow afternoon, and when we come live once again with the final match of the 1992 African Nations Cup. Ghana the hot favourites against Ivory Coast. Will we, I wonder, see Ghana claiming their 5th title? Can Ivory Coast upset all the odds? We'll see you tomorrow for that. Until then, from everybody here in Senegal, bye-bye.